new book is shedding light on the close link between God and science. Written by astronomer Brother Guy Consolmagno, A Jesuit's Guide to the Stars takes readers on a journey through the cosmos to appreciate the alignment of scripture, tradition, and the quest to see God in all things. The book brings together Brother Guy's studies as well as his personal journey as a man of faith. And joining us now in the studio today is Brother Guy Consolmagno, director of the Vatican Observatory. Brother Guy, thank you so much for being here with us.
It's a delight to be here again.
Well, we love this. And also, for those who may not be familiar, tell us a little bit more about the Vatican Observatory.
Well, we like to say that we go back to the reform of the calendar in 1582.
Wow. Because
that's when the Vatican hired astronomers to figure out what we now call the Gregorian calendar. In 1891, Pope Leo XIII established a national observatory at the Vatican to show the world that the Church supports science. And we've been doing that ever since. We now have our headquarters in the Pope's summer home in Castel Gandolfo, which includes a beautiful visitor center. And then in Tucson, Arizona, we have a telescope in Mount Graham. So we're doing cutting-edge research as we're also carrying forth the message of how the heavens proclaim the glory of God.
Yeah, you do such fascinating work there, and you've written a number of fascinating books. Tell us about the latest one.
A few months ago, the fellows at Loyola Press said, Guy, we've got a great title for a book, A Jesuit's Guide to the Stars. Could you write the book?
Yeah.
And how could I not? So I pulled together a lot of ideas, some of my own experience, some of the history of the Jesuits working on science. Do you know that there's about 60 craters on the moon or asteroids named for Jesuit scientists, going back to really before Galileo. And this shows how the Jesuits have been involved in our understanding the universe. It's part of our Jesuit charism to find God in all things. What's more all things than the universe?
Yeah, that is really fascinating. And I'm sure a lot of people did not know that, myself included. Talk to us about the relationship between wonder, beauty, and science.
Why do we do the science? At the end of the day, it's not to make you rich or famous. It's not to make better cell phones. That's technology, which is wonderful but different. We do science because we're curious about the universe and who we are and our place in the universe. And when I say we, I mean anyone who's a human being. I was in the Peace Corps many years ago, and the people in the most remote parts of Africa wanted to look through my telescope and look at the rings of Saturn and go, wow, because that's what makes us more than just well-fed cows. If you think of the 7 days of creation, what's the goal, the seventh day? The day when we spend the time to contemplate the things that God has created. So being an astronomer or being a poet talking about the stars, that's part of our mission as human beings in love with God.
It's so incredible. For those of us that are amateur stargazers, any advice for us?
Well, one thing is be sure to do it every day. Go out just once a day and take a look at the sky. But another thing, if I can say a little bit beyond where my own work, Pope Benedict had a marvelous homily at Easter Saturday night, 2012. And in it, he talks about the role of light in our lives. And he says, we human beings create artificial lights that can blind us to God's lights. It's called light pollution. So a little bit that you can do to turn down the lights outside, the lights that are shining up where it's useless. You want them on the ground where you can walk, but I'm not walking up there. Make our skies a little bit darker so we can see God's glory a little more clearly. Because as Pope Benedict said, that light pollution is a perfect analogy of what human sin is. Us using our lights to try to blind ourselves to what God's lights are trying to tell us.
Well, Brother Guy, thank you so much for writing this book. Thank you for being you, and thank you for being here. We appreciate it. God bless you.
And thank you for letting us share this to the world.